it's Brett here, and I'm gonna do Ode to Joy, a harder version. I posted a very easy version. This is the next step. So this is a good song, even if you're total beginner. I think this is possible to play. It just will take a little bit more work, and it's gonna be basically just adding a bass note. So make sure you check out part one, and this one's gonna add like the bass, the root of the chord. So if the chord is C, you'll see up in square brackets on the tab. Then we're gonna add C in the bass, and yeah, we'll just get into it. So what I'll do is I will play the whole thing first so you can see it, and then go piece by piece. So it's gonna be like this. So now we'll go piece by piece. There are 16 measures. I think about this song, like this is a shortened version of the song, but this is the main part people know. So we're gonna go like line by line, just like I did in the first video, and you'll notice, like I said, we're gonna add the bass. So first thing, the way I would approach this is first make sure you get the right finger on the bass, and then you have to figure out how to like get the feel for the rest of it. Because the bass note will kind of constrain where your fingers can go. So first thing we need is C in the bass. And this is also a good way to learn where some notes are. So like when you play a C chord, this note is the root of C, it's C. You can call it the 1 of the chord. Just the same letter as the chord name. So you're gonna hold this finger on there, get up on the tip, and then you could do pinching with these fingers or these or whatever you want. Make sure your thumb sticks out like this though. So what you're gonna do is pinch with here and the top. And you're gonna have to play with your pinky on top. So it's gonna be pinch, open twice on top. 1, and then pinky on 3. First, just master that, because there's going to be a lot of repetition. Alright, and then the next bass note goes down to G. You can see in the tab, it's the G chord. The 1 of G is any G in the chord, but the bass root is G right here. And then you're going to go 3, 1, 0, 3 on B. It's a little bit tricky, you have to use your pinky, but it's a common technique. So you pinch the outer 2. You don't even need this here though. You don't even need to hold down the middle finger like you would on a G chord. So we're just gonna pinch. So that's measure 2. Right now on the screen you see all 4 measures. I think it's good a lot of times to think in terms of like 4 measures, like a little group. Alright, and the next part, we're gonna go back to C. So this finger moves from G down here, back to C, the bottom of the C chord. And this time we're gonna go 1, 1, 3, 0. Notice I actually use my pinky, and that's just a habit from doing it with the C chord. You could, well, and also this is down here actually. So never mind, it's because of this finger's down here. But also later, in later videos, we're gonna do full chords, and you're gonna want this like this. This is measure 3, ring finger, first finger, and then pinky's gonna go 3, 1, 1, 3, 0. Okay, and then the last one, you're gonna go back to a G chord, the G in the bass, and here, to my ear, it sounds better to play the bass on the first beat. So if you look on the bottom, I also wrote the rhythm. So if you play on the first beat, like 1, 2, and then on the third beat. And the reason why is because in the next line, we're gonna have 2 chords and it sounds inconsistent. It also just sounds kind of nicer. So listen, it'd be like 2 and 3, pinch, 1, 2, then you play the note, and 3, 4, 2. So that's the hardest rhythmic thing in the song. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and just listen to it. Ba, 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 ba. So the whole first line is, whoops. And that's it. The next line is almost exactly the same. So if you scan over it, it's almost the same, but the difference is the second measure has an F chord, so we're gonna use a different bass note. The melody's actually the same to that point. And then the very last measure has 2 chords, G, C instead of just G. And the melody is 3, 1, 1 on the B string instead of 0, 3, 3. So let me play line 2 and then I will go slow again. So there we go. So first measure, same as what we just did. So C in the bass, 0, 0, 1, 3 up on top like that. 0, 0, 1, 3. This time we're gonna have a new bass note. F. So I actually think it sounds better to use this F. If you know a full F bar chord, there is an F down here. Now I was thinking about using this one. I actually think this one sounds better for some reason. And in a later version of this series on Ode to Joy, I'm going to get to show a harder way, and this is not really usable. But I use this as a root note of F a lot. This note's just F. People play F like that quite a bit, or like that. Or like later, just to show some more dance. In that shape, that is the low root note. So, okay. So second measure, second line, we're gonna go. Ring fingers right there on F, and you're gonna do pinky up on top. So you get a lot of pinky practice. So 3 and 3. Like that. Okay, so that's second measure of the second line. The next measure is C. We already did that, so I'm gonna kind of skip by it. Just C in the bass, 1, 1, 3, 0. Now the next part is a little bit trickier because we have 2 chords in one measure, but it's pretty easy. You just do a G in the bass, because for a G chord, and D right here, this note, 3rd fret on the B string. And then you play a single note, and then you do a C in the bass, because the chord change, and 1 here. So this might be something you need to practice more, because it's a little bit technical, more technical. And the rhythm is like 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, G, C, C. It's actually G and C chord. Or it's kind of like a passing note. But let me play that whole line. Here we go. Okay, so line 2 is, in my opinion, a little trickier, but the next one we're going to go to now, line 3. This one is definitely a trickier line, and you can see why. It's because we have double the chords. Like every 2 notes, we're switching chords. Every like 1, 2 is a chord, and then 3, 4 is a chord of each measure. So there's just more complexity, but it's not too hard, and it sounds cool. It's worth learning. So here the first one we're gonna do G. So G in the bass, 3 down here, and we're gonna go, and then 3 in the bass on the A string, C. So that's measure 1. So we go ba, ba. So G chord. So even though we're only playing single note in the bass, I still think of that as the chord. So it's like G chord, C chord, 3, 3, 0, 1. Okay, and if this is hard, go back to the first part and just learn the melody, and learning to hear it in your head, the melody, will make this easier. All right, and then the next part, you're gonna do a pinch. It's a G chord, and then 0, 1, and then go to C, 3 in the bass. So that's measure 2. I'll do measure 2 of this line one more time. Oh, sorry, that was the first measure. Here we go, measure 2. Measure 2 one more time because I screwed up. 3, we got a G. 3 there, 0, 1. 3 in the bass for C. Alright, measure 3 of this line. Same thing we just did, but this one we're gonna have an E7 chord. And this is, you can just do pinch 0, 0, and then put your pinky here. And first finger here for the next measure is A minor. Pinky. So I guess I could have said in the beginning, you want to use your pinky on these notes. Don't do this, and the reason why is, like, in this case, look how much work this is real quick. The last measure of the line we just did, so A minor G, versus, and that doesn't really matter until you start trying to go faster. See how this finger had to jump? Watch this. What looks like more work. And the reason why it's important is as you speed up your music, you'll hear, like, the smoothness of it matters where you put your fingers. Like, if you have to do a big jump like that in the middle of the song when you're going fast, I mean, first of all, later it's not really gonna be possible, but all right. So let's go on to the last line. And if any of this seems hard, one trick I would say is, like, try your best to learn it, and then just let your brain churn on it for a couple days. Sometimes if stuff's new, like if you're a real beginner and this seems like a ton of new information, just go through it like that line we just did, third line, and then maybe take a couple days off, or just, like, watch this video, don't play, and hear it and see it, and it'll get easier. All right, last line is the same actually as the second line. So the ending's the same and all that. It has, and the way I think about it is, like, the first line had G as the second chord, and then the second line of the song, and the last line of F. All right, so I'll play it again. So ready? C. I'll say the chord C, F, C, G, C, C. And that's it. So this is a way cooler way to play Ode to Joy. Like, for the increased level of complexity, which is not a ton, it sounds much better. Like, so let me just play both ways. This is video 1, and if you didn't learn video 1, go do that. It's just the top notes. But now, actually, instead of practicing it like that, I'm gonna play it with my pinky. So that if you want to, if you're having a hard time with this, you could play part 1 with your pinky and then add the notes, okay? So I'm using my pinky. So that sounds okay. It just sounds like a melody, but this actually starts to sound pretty nice, just adding single notes. And where we're going to go with this, just to anticipate, is more like... full chords, and then later we're going to do actual, like, finger picking. Like, it'll sound cooler and cooler. So one way to get good at guitar is to kind of, start simple. Like, don't go for the hardest version of the way to do something to start out. And even though I've been playing guitar for a long time, I still take that approach. Like, okay, I can't play this whole song yet, so I'm going to start out a little simple but still learning useful stuff, and then I'll make the jump to the next part instead of necessarily like getting too stressed about the exact way to do it starting out. And that's just a strategy overall with learning stuff. So I hope this was helpful. If anyone has any questions, I love comments, and please like and subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.